for billionaires when that requires cutting things for working families that impact ordinary Americans, like Medicare, education, and nutrition. The budget that just passed, the interim budget that just passed Congress, doesn't say they're going to cut Social Security, but anybody who can do arithmetic knows the numbers don't add up without cutting Social Security and our health care, education, and other essential services. So either she's gaslighting us or she doesn't know basic arithmetic. Which one is it? It's clear that her goal is to cut government services to the point where they become dysfunctional. And then Donald Trump will swoop, and Musk will swoop in to save the day by privatizing these government services at a profit, which we will pay for. This does not add up either. This is not in our interest. This is not how we make America great. I've been asked to ask her as well. In her recent newsletter on March 7, she said Trump had a common sense plan to get our country back on track. Could you please elaborate on what makes sense with what is currently happening in the federal government? Exactly. So one approach that Trump seems to be following is buy his Bitcoin, and then you can get whatever permits or government contracts, tariff relief, whatever you want, court relief. You can get whatever you need, just buy a little bit of his Bitcoin. Isn't there something in the Constitution called the Emollients Clause that says presidents can't profit from their office? When did the Republicans decide to abandon our country's great commitment to things like defending corruption, defending democracies from Russian dictatorships? I thought the Republicans were in favor of a strong defense, in favor of our veterans, and standing up to communism. Hello? We used to stand up for our allies in Europe and Canada and around the world. This is a Republican value. What happened? And freedom of speech. We are now, President Trump has now arrested a green card holder. He said things I don't like. A lot of people say things I don't like, and I deal with it. That is not a deportable offense. What happened to our freedom of speech? If we come first for the immigrants, they will be coming for us. So my final question for Representative McClain is, does she plan to defend our Constitution and our system of checks and balances? Trump is closing agencies that were established by Congress, and only Congress can close those agencies. If the Republicans want to close these agencies, last I checked, they control the Senate and the House and the White House. They could pass a law. I may not like that law, but that's democracy. But the president cannot rule by executive announcements. That's how dictatorships roll. That is not how we do things here in America in a democracy, as far as I know.
And I really wanted to come here tonight to hopefully ask my representative, Lisa McClain, the same question I have been attempting to ask her for the last few weeks with multiple phone calls and no responses, as well as during her teletown hall just last week or the week before, where I was only able to type in a question. I unfortunately was not one of those people who were somehow secretly invited to actually call in and ask. So I wanted to basically ask her how she felt about public education, especially with her being on the education committee. I wanted to know if she is in favor of dismantling the Department of Education. I myself, as a school social worker, am somebody who utilizes those funds directly from the federal government. I work directly with students under special education. I also support students under Section 504, so this is very important to me. We provide a lot of important supports, roles, staff, interventions, services directly to our kids most in need. And so that was my hope to ask her directly today, and I actually brought a visual for her if she was here to make the answer a little bit easy, to simplify the question for her into a simple yes or no, in the same way that I would differentiate something This is the same way I would differentiate with use of visuals for maybe some autistic students, students who are non-speaking, students who just visually learn a little bit better. And so this is called a contingency map. And ultimately, I just wanted to know, yes or no, are you in favor of dismantling the Department of Ed? If yes, we have some sad kiddos who are going to lose funding, who are going to lose their supports and services. So how would you support our kids in Michigan? And if your answer is no, our students might remain happy because we might be able to save some of that funding and to continue providing the support that our children need. But how will you work with your colleagues and everybody else in Congress in order to ensure that our kids remain protected? That's all I have to say.
I am tired of hearing Elon Musk and the douche boy saying that we have nothing more than, well, that we have waste, bloat, and corruption in all of these departments. He's saying that, and our representatives are not asking him for any proof.
Right.
Where is the proof? Where are the audits to prove this is true?
Yes.
I think that we need to start asking them and him to provide us with the proof that this is what's happening.
Act together and represent the people. Now, I heard that some congressmen are afraid or be threatened, their families are being threatened, or they're being threatened. But they need to speak up, and that includes the Republicans, if they believe in the Constitution. They need to stand up and be heard, and let us be heard. And as far as Elon Musk, he's going to go in there like a bull in a china shop. He's destroying Social Security so he can privatize it and make a buck at it because he's got some new PayPal system he wants to implement. We know what he's doing. We see it. We're not blind. And we're getting tired of it. And we're getting tired. Today, France called for the Statue of Liberty to be returned. They called. They want it back. And I don't blame them. I wish they would take me when they take it. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I'm really tired of her not answering the phone and cowering. I'm tired of all the Republican representatives cowering to a dictator, which is what Trump is. I'm tired of an unregulated, unconfirmed idiot who sells cars that fall apart. I'm tired of secret private deals that he's making with Starlink and with SpaceX and with Doge and everything else that he's profiting from at our expense. And he saw this pot of money called Social Security that he's got to get his greedy little mitts in. We'll stay out of it. It's ours. It's self-funded. It belongs to us.
And their special needs is not bloated bureaucracy. The funding that helps support my wages and my coworkers' wages is not bloated bureaucracy. This is legislation, and these are actions that are created to take away from us, the working class. It is not just taking from teachers. It is going to take from librarians. It is going to take from civil engineers. It's going to take from healthcare workers, all the above. We're all going to be affected by this. And what we need to do is not only complain and talk about Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but look at our representatives. Lisa McClain is a lost cause. She's going to vote Trump whatever she wants. But we have also, we've been let down by our senators. Slotkin voted for the Lincoln-Riley Act. That allows to get rid of immigrants without due process. Peters just voted for the CR, Continuing Resolution Bill. What that allows Trump to do is pass tariffs without Congress's approval. It allows him to take funding from departments that Musk got rid of, and now Trump can use that how he wants. So we have complacent Democrats who are also part of the problem. And so that's my question is, Peters, Slotkin, why are we a part of the issue instead of fighting against it? Because we are all here and interested about putting Trump away, and we need their support, not a knife in the back.
Yes.
I am also an educator. I worked for decades. I worked for decades with early childhood education, so preschool through third grade. In particular, my favorite grade, kindergarten. And if you've ever heard about the essay that was written back in the 1980s, all I ever needed to know I learned in kindergarten, that is very true. And so my question, if Lisa McLean had shown up is to explain skills that were worthy of sharing with others, that they were valuable, every single person, and that their value took nothing away from the child that was sitting next to them. And I told my students as well that everyone belonged. And everybody has that sense of wanting to belong, and I think that's part of the reason why I came out today, and maybe some of you. We want to be part of something bigger. And in my classroom, we did that. I like to make quilts, and what we would do is choose fabrics. Every child would choose that. I would go home, make the quilt, and then the children would see that finished quilt and say, "Where's my fabric? Well, am I part of that?" And I told them, I said, if I just did your little piece, you would be a potholder. But you know, all of us stitched together, all of us working for something bigger, we are a quilt. And so I want to believe that we, as a quilt, as something that covers everyone in a valuable way, that we're still capable of doing that in America. And explain to my classroom where I'm teaching today that somehow the person next to them was less than them. I don't know how I could do that. It's because it's not a natural way that children think. And don't miss the fact that public education is a cornerstone of our democracy. Not just for the knowledge that we gain, but for the way that we interact with other people who are not like us. And if we come with the mindset that they have something to teach us, we're going to have a much better country and world than if we say, I'm the only one that has a problem. Equity is about giving somebody what they need, not exactly the same thing as everybody else. And that is not a hard concept.
It looks like most of us are old enough to remember a lot of angst in our country. And I think all of us that are here remember when the United States was united against a common enemy called the Soviet Union. Yes. How many of you remember Cesar Chavez, who fought with the United Farm Workers? Yeah. Cesar was in my home for dinner. I fought for Cesar for years and told people about the struggle of the migrant farm workers. It's time to be on the streets again to remind people of what we've lived through and what is important to us. Yes. Because we, the power of the people, are so much stronger than what the little peons, little brains we're seeing at the top right now. These people are not smart enough to run our country. Yes. We are the country. Yes. And I'd like to ask if anybody remembers in the 80s, the small little paperback booklet that came out called The 100th Monkey. Remember that book? It was a little teeny book, 50 pages. It had a picture of two monkeys on one side and a couple sentences on the other side. And it told the story about some Japanese scientists that studied the monkeys that lived off a chain of islands off of the coast of Japan. Well, the monkeys used to dig their sweet yams out of the dirt and eat them, dirt and all. All of these monkeys on all the different islands. None of the monkeys could swim from island to island. They were all far enough not to be able to swim to. But during the course of the 10 years of studying these monkeys, one island of monkeys started washing their sweet potatoes and eating them. Eventually, another island started washing their sweet potatoes and eating them, until finally, the whole chain of islands of monkeys was cleaning their sweet potatoes before they ate them. Ken Kais, who wrote the book, extrapolated from this that if we were so concerned in the 80s that Khrushchev would put his finger on that nuclear button and blow us up, it was gonna happen. Why not think peace if that's what we want? I don't want to fight against anybody. I want to march for us.
The first thing I taught my preschoolers are, you don't hit,
you don't bully, and you don't call names. I would like to ask every Republican out there, what are they teaching their children? We have a president that has lied, bullied, called names. So what are they teaching their children? How to explain to them, but that's our reality. If you're a parent, what are you explaining to your kids? And what are they going to believe in? It's okay to commit crimes. It's okay to lie. It's okay to cheat. It's okay to steal. That's all I have to say.
It's great to be back in Metamora. Lapeer County has a place in my heart. I spent a lot of time here and love it. A big thank you to Keely for putting this on and all the work you and your team did. And for the Historical Society for hosting. This is not an easy task, and I appreciate being here. I'll tell you that I'm an optimist. I have hope, and we should all have hope. It's hard doing that right now, right? Yeah. There's a lot of things that are going on. I was on the phony town hall. I didn't get the email. I called the office. They said it would be sent out. I didn't get the phone number, but I did put a bunch of questions in there, which none were answered, which I wasn't surprised. But that is Lisa. That is who she was last year during the campaign, and that's why we're here. That's why you're here. If you look around, holy cow, look at this, man. This is amazing. Some of the things that have me concerned are some of the things that the speakers talked about. The talk of impeaching judges. Real quick. This is how much wealth 3 people have, and they all happen to be on the inauguration stage, right behind Donald Trump. If someone were to give you $100,000 since Jesus was born, $100,000 a day. So $100,000 times 365 times 2,025 years, you would still only have 1/5 the wealth of Elon Musk. When I saw that, I said, no way. Pulled out my phone, $100,000 a day, every day since Jesus was born. You would not only have 1/5 amount of wealth. So when you think about that, that's what we're up against. So thank you. I appreciate you all. It's great seeing you guys again. Keep doing what you're doing. You stood here, and you guys will keep doing it. Keep the fight. Keep holding others accountable because it's working. It's great.